Hey, this is Shayna, and we are back at Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin. I am once again here with some friends. I like to call them helpers, and right now I'm not even going to call them helpers because they're probably going to do the whole thing for me. We are making dessert today. We're using pantry items that are easily accessible, along with a couple of things you might have to grab at the grocery store. Like I said, we are on dessert. This is a pretty simple one. It's a no-bake, so super safe for you to have your kids help you with. And I would like to once again introduce my lovely assistants. Who do I have down here?
Hi.
And what are you going to be doing for me today? You're going to help crunch cookies with your hands. That's right. Awesome. And who else do I have? Piper. Piper, what are you going to do?
I'm going to be mixing peanut butter and butter.
Oh, and a couple other things, I think. So you're going to get the filling going. And then I've got Sawyer over here. Sawyer, what are you going to do?
I'm going to be putting the peanut butter into the chocolate chips and stirring them.
And melting that, and that's going to be the topping, okay? So we've got a great dessert here with peanut butter and chocolate, which in my personal opinion are the two best things you can have for dessert. What's really cool about peanut butter is it's a really good healthy fat. It's going to stick in your stomach, and it totally has the bonus of having some added protein, which we all know. What does protein do for us? It keeps us...
It doesn't make you hungry.
Yeah, it keeps you full longer. So it's a super, super, super awesome thing. Protein's really important in our diets, but sometimes it's hard to get, so you have to be creative. We have a box of, these are original vanilla wafers. Some of you have heard of vanilla wafers or animal crackers or graham crackers or maybe even some sort of cookie that you might have on hand. Although baking is important to use exact ingredients, you can still change up the ingredient that you use as long as you're using the same amount when it comes to something like a cracker. So we're gonna put all 11 ounces of these in a Ziploc bag, and my friends here are going to mash the heck out of them. Look how excited she is! She's gonna slam on these with her hands. Go! That's a lot of crackers. It's gonna take some time. I think you do kind of ultimately want to get them as fine as possible, but we're just going to see where this goes. And truly, if you had a little chunk of cracker in your dessert, I don't think you'd complain. So it's going to totally be okay. In our big bowl, we're going to start to make the filling, okay? So we are taking 2 sticks of butter, which we have right here, and we are combining that to the best of our ability by hand right now, but you could absolutely use like a stand-up mixer for this if you had that on hand. And we have a cup of creamy peanut butter. You could probably use chunky peanut butter. You could probably use a natural peanut butter. You could use any other peanut butter, almond butter, any of those things. So what happened is we got a tiny little hole in our Ziploc bag, and that's no big deal at all. So this totally might happen at home because when the crackers start breaking, they get a little bit sharp. And so can I use the rolling pin and do a little bit right now and just see what happens? Okay, we'll do that. You can have your kids crush for as long as they want. You might have to step in, because that's a big box of crackers. You're doing a great job. That's exactly what it's supposed to look like. So once you have your butter and your peanut butter like kind of creamy looking, we're gonna slowly start to add in more ingredients. And while we're doing that, I'm just gonna keep crushing these crackers up. So are you ready for what's next? Okay, you're gonna add the powdered sugar. We have 2 cups of powdered sugar, so like confection sugar. And you're gonna do it slowly. So don't dump the whole thing, do maybe like 1/3 of it and stir that in first, okay? What we are doing is we're just kind of taking it slow so that the sugar doesn't add into that peanut butter and get super tight, and then we can't stir it at all, because that's not the kind of dessert we're going for. It's really fun to do a no-bake dessert because it takes a lot less time, and who wants to wait a long time for dessert? Right? Nobody. Do you want to wait a long time for dessert? No. So if we don't have to bake it, we can eat it faster. This one is supposed to be in the fridge for a little while. We'll see how patient these kids are. I'm not really sure how long it will stay in the refrigerator. Okay, we're almost there with our powdered sugar. Are you prepared for what's about to happen? Are you ready? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it to you. So this is gonna get a little bit sticky. You don't want it to be hard, but the sticky is good because that's what everything's gonna kind of stick together. You know, think about making Rice Krispie bars. That's kind of what we're doing. We're just using a few different ingredients, but the consistency is gonna be very much like that at the end. A whole bag of chocolate chips, mini ones, big ones, semi-sweet, dark chocolate, milk chocolate, doesn't matter. Whatever you have. White chocolate, I don't care. Peanut butter ones, go for it. All right, I'm coming at you. Oh, look how clean her area is, guys. This is impressive. You're doing impressive work, my friend. The next step for that is gonna be to go in here and be the bottom layer. We're gonna slowly turn on our burner and get some heat going. So we're gonna melt another bag of chocolate chips with a 1/2 cup of creamy peanut butter. Then just keep stirring, because this is ultimately gonna be just like a really creamy, beautiful mixture. But you two girls are gonna transfer that bowl of stuff into here with your hands. What you don't want to do is let it sit too long in between stirring, because then it will have a tendency to do things that you don't want it to do. Let's just review what we have going on in here. We have butter, peanut butter that we blended together, then we added in some confection sugar, then we added in chocolate chips and some crushed up cookies. That is our filling, that's the base. Our topping, or frosting, or whatever you'd like to call it, is going to be a combination of just chocolate and peanut butter, that's all. To be a little bit patient when you mix this up. Once it is nice and smooth, so can you see? Can you see? It's just still kind of sticky, but it's definitely doing what it's supposed to be doing, which I was a little worried about, and I am not worried any longer. In the recipe, you guys are gonna see that you can top this dessert with chopped peanuts. There are also a number of other options. You could clearly top this with chocolate chips. Once again, peanut butter chips. Maybe you've got some Oreo cookies or some vanilla cookies or something like that. Chocolate chip cookies, whatever the case is. Squish some of those up. You could totally put that on top of this. You could do sprinkles on top of this. You could do kind of whatever. This is definitely a safe recipe for you to let your kids do while they are home alone. I can already see some of the crumbs are kind of getting combined in there, but it doesn't have to be pretty to taste good, so it doesn't matter. If you're gonna let your kids go crazy in the kitchen, they can make a mess. The next steps are to chill this in the refrigerator for about an hour or so. If you do try to cut it and it still kind of squishes a little bit, just give it a little bit more time. Once again, you can top it with anything you'd like. Crushed peanuts, other cookies, anything like that. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a delicious peanut butter and chocolate dessert that is brought to you today by the wonderful Test Kitchen at Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin.